Greetings and welcome to Causeless Joy Tarot. I am the Golden Light Goddess, and I'm here today to do a general reading for the eclipse season that we're currently in. I typically do regular readings on a monthly basis, although life has not allowed me the time or opportunity to do the readings, but I have received very clear guidance to do a general reading for the eclipse season that we're currently in. It wasn't until I was guided to do the reading that I began to realize exactly how much energy is up around this time. It is truly a very powerful time that will impact many people as we move through this window of time. So, just to give a little background on the eclipse season, on July 13th, we had a partial new moon solar eclipse in Cancer, and that affected the signs of Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. So it's all about new beginnings, feeding our foundation and paying attention to the feelings that we're experiencing around that time. And as I tape this particular video, it is July 15th. So we're at the very beginning of the eclipse season. And as I explain, you'll see what I mean about eclipse season here. So prior to this video, I meditated on this time and on the messages that will come forth. So I'm trusting that anyone who's actually watching this video is guided to do so by their own inner guidance, and in some way this will give you some guidance about this time, because it is indeed a very powerful time. The sun actually enters the sign of Leo on July 22nd, and it'll be there until August 23rd. We also have a Mercury retrograde happening 7/26 through August the 19th. Now, in the midst of all of that occurring, we have another total lunar eclipse in Aquarius happening on July 27th. So that particular eclipse is going to affect the signs of Leo, Taurus, Scorpio, and Aquarius. So then on August the 11th, we have a partial solar eclipse in Leo again there. Leo truly being highlighted at this time, although there are so many signs directly impacted by these eclipses that it's really amazing. So the August 11th eclipse affects Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius again. So we're within this 30-day window of major energy is being moved and shifted for many signs. As I mentioned, even if your sign is not directly impacted, the chances of you interacting, communicating with, working with, or for someone whose sign is impacted is extremely high. And therefore, everyone is affected by this window of eclipses that we're heading into, and that as I speak, we're already within that window. So it calls upon all of us to bring our attention and our awareness to focus on certain aspects of our lives in order to get the highest benefits of these times. So as a result, I've been guided to do a Celtic card spread for what my guides are calling the eclipse window of 2018. Again, it's a time of major changes. The eclipse in August, on August 11th, is actually the last eclipse of the year. So essentially we have 3 eclipses happening within 30 days, and after that August 11th eclipse there won't be any more until next year, 2019. So as I mentioned, I'm guided to do a Celtic card spread. Today I'm using the Gilded Tarot deck as the main deck for the Celtic card spread, and I'll be drawing 2 bonus guidance cards today. One from Kyle Gray's Keepers of the Light, and the other is from the Starstream Oracle deck here. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. The Celtic cross is going to be slightly different than what the meaning of the cards may be a little different than what you might be accustomed to, although generally speaking it does it is the exact, generally speaking it's the same type of reading that we'll be doing. So as I mentioned, I did some meditation over the cards over this reading, and we'll go ahead and get started now with the general reading for all signs for the eclipse season. Calling on my guides, angels, teachers, helpers, all that loves and surrounds each and every sign. Asking for guidance, clarity, wisdom, as we look into the energies available to those impacted the most by the shifting energies. All right, we have a card that's flipped over the 5 of Swords here. Right behind that we have the Star card. These cards are already beginning to speak about the energies and what's going on. The 4 of Cups, the 5 of Wands. So we'll go ahead and put those back in, and we'll see what if they come back out. Giving thanks in advance to all that is loving and supportive in the universe. Asking for guidance and clarity as we look into the energies impacting all signs during this 30-day window of eclipses. Trusting that those who are meant to see this video will receive the messages that are here for them to receive, so that we can live our highest, best, most loving life possible. All right. This is actually one of my older decks. Actually one of my favorite decks. Very, very comfortable with this deck. And it felt like the right deck to use for this particular reading, which I do consider to be a special reading. All right. That feels pretty good right there. So let's go ahead and give the cards a cut. All right, and at the bottom of the deck we have the 6 of Wands coming up in the reverse here. So we know that the 6 of Wands in the upright is all about victories, having a reason to celebrate, looking forward to celebrations even. When we see the 6 of Wands coming up in the reverse, it's more about retreat. And it can also signify a lack of confidence. And that's more of what I'm drawn to here in this card. And when I say that there's a lack of confidence, it doesn't mean that you have no confidence, obviously. It's more, I'm feeling that there's a greater push, a greater call for many of us to step up to the plate in a new and exciting and amazing way. And in order to do that, we'll have to rely on our abilities more than what we're accustomed to relying on them, right? We'll have to believe in ourselves. We'll have to believe that whatever is in front of us to do is more than possible. If it were not so, it would not be there for us to do. There's just no other way of putting that. So when I see this Six of Wands coming up in the reverse, it gives me very much the impression that there's a need to rely on the internal courage, the internal strength that is there for you as you step up to the plate to rise to new horizons, to new vistas, right? There's a newness coming in with the energy of the eclipses. The eclipse that occurred on the 13th, Friday the 13th, was actually all about new beginnings, all about reestablishing your place in the universe. And in order to do that, again, it requires great confidence, great trust, and great faith in your abilities. All right. So let's go right to the center of the matter here. We do have the Seven of Cups coming up in the upright position. So this is going to be all about, and this is coming up as a central focus here. And when we see the Seven of Cups in the upright, we're talking about a lot of decisions, too many choices, too many things to contend with, too many commitments, issues. There's a lot going on here with the Seven of Cups coming up in the upright. Again, there may be a need to step back and really assess what's worth your energy, what's worth the extra effort, and begin to look at the possibility of letting some of those things go, because again, this is very indicative that there is just a lot going on around you, impacting your energy and drawing on your energy. Now, crossing that, we have the Nine of Swords, right? Again, another indication that there is burdens, things that you're carrying that may require you to reassess and determine just how much of your energy you're willing to continue to invest in some of these. I'm having a tough time getting the card exactly the way I want to, the way the camera is set up, so that's why I'm flickering the cards a lot here, but I think I have it now. Again, all of these options that are here is really has been somewhat of a burden for you. Again, the Nine of Wands is crossing you here, signifying heavy burdens, testing your courage and your boundaries more than anything else. Picking up the Seven of Cups here, where we have a great, a lot of choices around us, a lot of possibilities going on, and that is crossing you, making you feel burdened at times. The other thing I want to say about the Nine of Wands is that it does signify your stick-to-itiveness, your ability to really hang in there and get things done. But some of those choices, some of those things, what I'm picking up here are simply don't require your time and energy the way that you're expending it. So there's a need to look at that in some way. All right, so I'm moving on now to the card over you, over us here. This is a general reading for all signs. This is all about what's brewing in your subconscious. And this card is actually preparing you for greater clarity and balance in your life. And we do have the major arcana coming in here, the Devil card, upright. The devil does signify addictions, things of that nature, over exerting yourself, or really not having any boundaries there when it comes right down to it, or not enough boundaries. Not that there are no boundaries, but just not enough boundaries there. But when we see the Devil card coming up in the reverse, it's all about recovery. It's all about returning to wholeness and wellness, and the ability to release some of those constraints and addictive behaviors and attitudes that may have plagued you in the past. Here we have a sense of recovery. And again, this is about what's brewing in your subconscious, preparing you for this greater clarity, as I mentioned. So there's this mindset that you're looking to recover. You're looking to recover either from habits or people or behaviors. There's very much in the mindset a mind of recovery, and that is just a wonderful thing to have going on there. Now we'll move down to the card that is directly below us. It represents our fears and things that most certainly could potentially prevent us from gaining ground on this recovery that we're clearly on here. We have the Page of Wands coming in the upright. Now, pages typically signify messages coming in, either in various ways, actually. They could come in through phone, through music, videos, friends. There are many ways that messages can show up. This page is usually one that brings a sense of newness. As I mentioned, the eclipse that we're currently in is all about new beginnings, new startups, and sometimes this is showing up in a fear position, in a position of concern, not in a position of power and strength. And so when we see this Page of Wands that represents a sense of newness, a sense of restart, or motivating us towards that recovery, and there's a sense of fear there, there's a need again to look at what exactly there is to be fearful of in the situation. I mean, as I mentioned here with your the card at the bottom of the deck where we had the Six of Wands coming up in the reverse, indicating a lack of confidence. And that lack of confidence could very well be tied to this fear of a new beginning, a fear of the unknown, in other words. And so what Spirit would really like for you to know about the unknown is that there's nothing there in that space that is bigger or more powerful or more connected than what you are, right? There's nothing in the unknown greater than you, in other words. So regardless of how our senses report to us at times that this thing or that thing needs our attention or needs our fear or needs our worry and concern, the guidance here is to remember who you are when those fears arrive, and know that nothing has the power to ever fully overcome who you are as a being. All right? So that was a beautiful message there. Now, in the past position, we have the Wheel of Fortune coming up in the reverse here. Another major arcana showing up. And this card represents our past experiences. The wheel is typically a very karmic card, so there could have been very karmic related occurrences and circumstances in your life that you were simply not able to control or even overcome in some cases. This was a very karmic cycle that is obviously in its completion stage, because this particular card is showing up in your past position. So when we see the Wheel of Fortune coming up in the reverse, it's about being stuck in a rut, feeling like things are out of control again, but very karmic in nature. The need for things to be as they were, there was very great purpose behind things being as they were. You know, there was a great karmic cycle needed to be completed, and there was no getting around the necessity to go through that particular cycle. So as a result, you've come out of that cycle now prepared to move forward into a much more brighter and blissful future, because here we have in the future position here the brightest card in the deck. We have the Sun coming up in the upright. Now, I do want to point out that this is another major arcana, and as of now we have one major card above us, one behind us, and one before us. So that also speaks to the level of changes that are underway during this window of the 2018 eclipses, which again are the last of the eclipses for this year. So the energy here can be felt, and the effects of this energy can be felt for up to 6 months beyond this very time that we're in now. But again, getting back to this future card, this Sun, there is so much hope, going perfectly with the Devil coming up in the reverse, signifying recovery. There is so much hope, so much light, so much possibility there for your future endeavors, that there's only a matter of you recognizing and realizing the power and potential that you have, and again relying on that, trusting in that, and acting as if that is absolutely your state of mind. There are many tests and studies have been done that really point to the power of belief, the power of knowing that you are a certain way or a certain type of being. There's a certain air that comes with that quality. So here again we have this magnificent growth that is occurring, and I felt that in the meditation prior to doing this reading, that this time was truly going to be powerfully changing and really catapulting people into a new direction where there is new hope and new joy and new possibility there for you. So again, acting as if this is the case will certainly help to perpetuate you, to move you very quickly into the development of these wonderful changes that will be shown to you in the very near future. Again, that is your future card, the Sun coming out. All right, so here we have another page coming in, and this page really goes with your central focus card of the Seven of Cups here. All right, we have the page coming in the Page of Cups actually coming in here as the first card out which represents your state of being, right? So we have the Page of Cups representing your state of being, as well as many, many decisions coming in. Again, we know that pages signify messages coming in, and these messages are potentially have an emotional tie for you. There's some sort of emotional connection as it relates to these particular messages. Now, having said that, going back to the card that this goes with, where we have all of these decisions, perhaps many of these decisions are connected to some sort of emotional, there's an emotional tie, right? We talked about the need to let go, or at least reevaluate some of the things that you're balancing right now. But what I'm picking up in the Page of Cups is that some of these things that you're balancing are clearly very emotionally tied to you. And there's a message of value. There's a lot of value that you place in having these decisions, balancing these things out, right? So there's a sense of worth that comes along with knowing that you're balancing all of these things. You're connecting your worth to doing what you're doing, which is a really hard way, honestly, to recognize and understand who you are. As we talked about earlier with the need here to, when we were on the initial page, we talked about the need to recognize your own perfection, your own beauty within you, and to act from that place. Here again, we have another page coming in with a very similar message to act as if. Act as if you know that your worth is not tied to your ability to do all of these, to balance all of these things out the way that you've been trying to do. You have somehow tied your worth into your ability to do these things. And that is something that Spirit, and you also know that no one really needs to tell you that this is causing a sense of burden for you, that it is something that's not completely joyful for you when it comes to balancing all of these things. So there's this need to reevaluate that situation and to let go of thinking that somehow your worth is involved in that. All right, we're moving right along then to the next card, which represents your external influences. Here we have the Four of Swords coming up. This is the rest card, plain and simple, and it means exactly what it says, that there is a need to rest, or that there is a either a need to rest, or someone is asking you to rest. There's something to do. Rest is, or either you're getting enough rest is what just came in. You're getting exactly the amount of rest that you need, and that is helping you to get to the place that will be most comfortable in the shifting, changing times that are upon us. So both of those messages are coming in with some sense of clarity. So for some, it may be that you are feeling a sense of restedness. You're balancing your work life and your personal life enough to where you're getting enough rest and spending enough time making the connection with yourself, and that is going to catapult you forward. Or for some, there is a need for you to begin to focus on getting the rest that you need, the balance, bringing that balance that you need into your life so that you can be in a position to really receive the changes and be in flow and in connectedness with the changes that are upon you. So you will know which one of those categories you're falling in there. But again, both of those are coming through quite clearly. The need to rest and the fact that your resting is perfect. It's the right amount of rest, and it's enough to get you to that next level. So again, you'll know where you fit in all of that. All right, we're moving on then to the third card. And this is about the degree that you're willing to make real change. This is one of the areas that slightly changed, if you will, with the Celtic card reading. Again, here we have another major arcana coming in, the Chariot. And again, the meaning of the card was there before the card was, and that's what I love about doing readings. My guidance was to say that this particular card was the degree that you're willing to make real changes. We talked earlier about a mindset of recovery, right? This mindset is already there within you. This is not something that any tarot reader or spiritual advisor or friend or co-worker needs to let you know. The recovery mindset is already there. It's already active and working within you. It's just a matter of you really connecting to your confidence and your wholeness. Here we have the Chariot card, yet another major arcana coming in to say that your degree of willingness is there. You're ready to take action. You're ready to make changes. And the energy that is currently here during this 30-day window of eclipse season is providing a bountiful opportunity for healing, for advancement, for growth, and for maturity. So having this mindset of recovery, the willingness to want to recovery, and this Chariot card confirms that you are indeed in a position to regain your full and become one again with the full wholeness of who you are. Your mindset of recovery is there, and the energy is supporting this very winning action-packed movement forward that is represented by this Chariot card coming up in the upright in this position. So that is just a wonderfully beautiful thing to see here with this particular card in this position. Let's take a look at the very last outcome card that we have. And wouldn't you know it here, yet another major arcana. This one is the Temperance card. The Temperance card represents what I was just speaking about here, which is balance. So after all of this recovery, this energy of change and newness that is abounding here, with the amount of major arcana cards that we have showing up in this reading, supporting the energy that is present with this eclipse season, what more but balance? And here we have the sun in the future position here, another major arcana, bringing absolutely beautiful balance and harmony into your life. And the energy is just it's beyond perfect for this type of movement forward. I noticed that there are no cards here that would indicate any sort of negativity. The closest that we came to any such type of card was seeing that there's this need to recognize your greatness, to recognize that who you are and who you were created to be has always been the plan. That has always been the plan. And every experience, every activity, every person, every circumstance that you've had the opportunity to engage with has brought you to a place where you're now ready to step forward and receive the recovery, receive the light and the prosperity, the movement forward that is here with this absolutely winning mindset of taking action and being willing to do what's necessary. Ultimately, you end up here with the Temperance card coming up in the upright. And again, this is about balance, harmony, self-control, moderation. It was beautiful to see the Devil card coming up in the reverse, indicating a recovery was on your mind instead of anything else. At the very most, I could see the need to let go of thinking that somehow your worth is tied to what you do. Your worth is tied to who you are, not what you do. All right. So let's move on now to take a look at a couple of guidance cards that we have here. Again, this is Kyle Gray's Keepers of the Light, another one of my all-time favorite decks. I see this reading is running a little longer, and I expected that it would because of the nature of this reading. And given the fact this is my only reading that I'm doing this month, I'm okay with the length of the video if you're okay with it. So let's go ahead and get one more guidance card out here from the Keepers of the Light. There we go. All right. She came out and sat right up for us, right? Okay, so we have green Terra. Oh, look at that. Beautiful green Terra. It says, Supreme Protection. You are protected. Cords are being cut. Move beyond limitations and trust. Beautiful confirmation, Spirit. Thank you. Yes, that is beautiful confirmation for exactly what we've been saying here, starting at the very beginning with this sense of lack of confidence. The sense that your worth is somehow tied to what you're doing, and the need here to trust that the fears, that you're not doing enough, or maybe that you're not enough. You're completely protected, supremely protected, in fact. Right? So, and cords are being cut. That's great, given the fact that there's clearly a need to cut some cords, and you're in the right mindset of recovery, ready to experience a true level of bliss and joy in your life. And so this, again, is perfect confirmation for what we've already seen the cards very clearly speaking here today in this reading. So let's grab one more bonus card from the Starstream Oracle deck, which this deck is by Cheryl Yambrack Rose. That's this deck. All right, so I thought it'd be cool for us to look at a Starstream card because this is, after all, Eclipse season. So let's get one last card here from the Starstream Oracle deck. One more card to perfectly complement this awesome, truly awesome reading. A lot of times changes can feel stifling and problematic, but in this case it looks like the energy that's available at this time is very supportive. There we go. All right, very supportive energy. So we have words cannot express it, the Black Madonna. And I'm actually going to go to the book for anyone who would like to hang out and see exactly what the Black Madonna jumped out to tell us, because words cannot express it. I've never seen this card, so I want to go to the book and see exactly what this means. So let's see, this is number 27. Let's see. All right, let me grab the book and go to number 27 and see exactly what she means by words cannot express it. Okay, that is number, where are the numbers at on here? Okay, let's see numbers. All right, 27, page 62. All right, give me a minute here to get to page 62. Here we go. Yes, right here. The Black Madonna. It means use your sacred sight to see, look with your soul, and the portal will open. That's the short version. And on this side, there's a story about the Black Madonna, actually. But the meaning of the card is that use your sacred sight to see, look with your soul, and the portal will open. And that does tie in very well to what we were saying earlier here about the need to understand who you are, and to let that guide you and let that be your guiding force going forward. Again, no one has to remind you that it's time for recovery, that it's time for healing, that it's time to move in a new direction. You're already very much set in that direction, which is wonderful to hear. But there is this need for some of you who will watch this video. There is a need for you to fully embrace your goodness, just as you are, just how you are. There's a need to do that. So I want to say thank you for joining me for this special edition, the Eclipse Season General Reading. This is a wonderful reading for anyone who's connecting and resonating with this reading. This is for you. And I look forward to seeing you back here very soon as my schedule permits. Namaste.